This college football picks week 2 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code SGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM and make sure to enter the free roll football contest. Up to $3,500 in prizes up for grabs. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/free roll to enter today.
This is Mike Leach, head football coach at Mississippi State, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Cox. He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog. I'm alive. Thanks for asking.
Yes, Kramer on Suicide Watch, joining us after his marathon show, pushing our show back. Colby Dant, aka Pick Dundee. What's happening, Colby?
Well, wait a second. You guys pushed my show back first.
No.
This is A plus B equals C.
No,
here.
no,
5:30. We were going to go live.
No.
And we didn't get live to. You guys didn't get done till 6:15.
No. We had this.
He didn't tell me about this last week. He put it in the text. I had this conversation with my wife earlier. I said, no one told me this last week.
Kramer, did you tell Colby we were streaming our fantasy draft?
I was told there would be a stapler. We did go over the schedule.
Okay.
I did tell. I also did tell Colby.
I would have not.
It would be
came in. No, if I'd known that,
No,
I would have not told them.
My solution was not a big deal to go a little bit late. I mean, if you start at 5:30 and you go 3 hours, that's 8:30.
Yes.
I'm just saying. So you went a half hour long.
I'm just saying. I normally do it on a Wednesday, and I said, "Hey guys, can you do last week at this exact week?" I said, "Can you do Tuesday?" And we want to go Tuesday 5:30.
I mean, Kramer, I'm looking at you. You're in charge of the schedule.
I mean, that's fine. It doesn't really matter whose mistake it was.
It's a team game.
We're here now.
We're here.
I do like the rivalry that's brewing.
Yeah.
The TCE chat can all go fuck themselves. Also worth noting, Dick Puncher. We have evidence.
Oh,
so
was he Benedicting, right?
We have our first official Benedict. Dick Puncher was. Let's just say this: Dick Puncher was hanging out with Americans and then sending wires back over to the naughty island across.
We do have
pond.
the echo going.
Echo.
Yes.
I wonder, Sean, do you think that echo is perhaps Diego pissing Pavia? Maybe he pissed over the soundboard here, right? Perhaps.
Now this I am going to blame on Colby.
Okay. All right. Throw someone under the bus.
All right. I think we're good now.
I mean, I warned you that the money line was in play and that he's the best player on the field.
We did.
Talk about these drone strikes all you want. But pissing Pavia is pissing Pavia.
Oh, well, I mean, Colby, we do have an amazing opportunity to get Kyron Drones Heisman Trophy award winner. Heisman ticket, great price now.
You do.
Kramer, do you have anything to say for yourself for Virginia Tech? Everyone is waiting. You've tried to address it on media.
Well, one, I would say that the my bad portion of this is not remembering how much I hate their offensive play calling. You can't let Tugboat Tootin only touch the ball 10 times or whatever.
The guy's named Tugboat.
So you out on Pry? Because I do have some questions.
So we're starting with this was always if you listen to the show the last 2 years, we did the whole yarn and the thumbtacks in the cork board. We figured out that Tyler Bowen was he came from an Urban Meyer team, aka the Jaguars. That was concerning, but maybe also why he got hired. He was one of the guys that was happy to leave the Jags in quick notice, and he's been a bad play caller. It seems we heard that he maybe was a good developer of talent, bad play caller. Showed up in this game big time. This looked like every other Virginia Tech game I've ever watched, whether it was Brian Steinspring, whether it was fucking whoever, Justin Fuentes.
Leffler?
Oh, Scott Leffler was the fucking worst. It just a sackless approach to playing football. I mean, the most obvious. It brought me back to the early '90s of Ray Hanley and the New York Giants, where the crowd would chant "Run, run, pass, punt" because they knew what was fucking coming. Now, that's the part where my bad. I should have realized this was in the range of outcomes. The part where I have a problem. Diego Pavia is the kid who wins the intramural league. How the fuck are you a defensive minded coach and you don't just
He's
load
like in
up?
Tecmo Super Bowl running the same play?
Up. Why were they sitting back? What the fuck was the defensive plan? Load up. Anytime you put that guy under pressure, he made a bad throw. His best plays were gimmicks. I would love to have him on my team.
Do that?
He's better than Kyron Drones, dude.
No, hold on.
He is a better quarterback.
I'm happy for you to be right about the game, but he's not. He's a good football player. He's not a good quarterback. And what I'm saying is, if I was a defensive coordinator, which is I'm sure what any good SEC defense would do, is load up, force him to beat you with the arm. He won't. Unfortunately, Virginia Tech didn't do that.
He actually had some drops when he hit some receivers, and they could not catch the fucking ball.
Some of his best throws were dropped, but that he didn't have a lot of good throws. His best plays were his. And shout out to the broadcast team. I'm blanking on who it was. It was Acho. That's what it was. Acho was doing a really good job of highlighting like this is just high IQ shit. And again, you're a defensive coach. How'd you not see this coming?
Well, that's my thing coming into the year is, yeah, we have all these returning starters, but you didn't beat any teams that were good last year. Like the only good team you beat was Tulane, who had like 20 guys out and their coach had already left for another job.
But if they were calling the offense like they were down the stretch last year, not the output, just calling the plays. And I think that's whatever happened for this game. Maybe they were looking ahead. Maybe they felt like they could win. Coach Pry put out some fucking weird tweet where by the way, I'm getting trolled by former UVA players. Shout out Nate Collins.
Nate Collins, he just the Green Light podcast
keeps quote tweeting shit and
well,
being like,
right,
you
did put out a thing. You guys are all dead to me if you took Vandy in the points, and I responded, "What about Vandy money line?"
And I said, "Deader." You're still dead to me.
Well, and we almost had an insane cash to start the season. Hawaii money line parlayed with Vandy money line.
Well, hold on, I'm not done.
Okay,
Coach Pry puts out this fucking cryptic post on X where he says on to next week 1-0. No, you're not 1-0. You're 0-1.
Yes.
That's your motivational shit. Did you schedule that before the season?
And this is where like this is a guy that needs to prove to me that he's a good football coach. They've only gotten 2 wins against teams with winning records. One was Tulane in the bowl game. The other was 2 years ago against Liberty after Hugh Strip Club Freeze had already really accepted the Auburn job. So I don't buy in. He's also 1-8 in close games by 1 score or less. I just am not there with buying in on this fucking team yet. Like, okay, you return all these starters, but do you have any real difference makers? Because I don't know that you do.
Here's the part where I went off. I was by the beach. It was perfect. Took the dogs on a very long walk on the beach.
Poor dogs.
Oh, the best part is the wife being completely oblivious to what had happened, and she's like, "So we're gonna go on that walk?" And I'm like, "Yes."
Well, and really, it was the most painful way to lose because Vandy missed that field goal in a regulation. You think, "Oh my God, thank you, college football gods. We have survived. We're gonna get to overtime, squeak out a victory, and live to see another day."
When they declined the taking the ball in overtime, knowing that your quarterback can't play, everything Colby said, that's when it was like, oh, okay, what the fuck? So then I, reconciled with what was going on, gave myself the whole 24-hour rule, but I condensed it to about 30 minutes. And I realized this is a new world of college football we're living in. And in the modern college football playoff era, everyone has losses. You don't want those losses late. You want those losses early,
unless you're Florida State.
Well, I'll get to them later. You want those losses early in a situation that will wake everyone the fuck up. And I saw old players taking to social media. I saw a lot of people kind of saying like, "What the fuck was this?" Because I do think that the sole person to blame in this outcome, 2 people. One, getting cramps on the first game of the season is inexcusable. Fire your strength and conditioning. Whatever's going on there.
Oh, you guys not lifting up plates? Coach Pry. Too many of my guys are on creatine.
They reported this on the broadcast. They said Virginia Tech was out warming up before the game. Vanderbilt nowhere to be seen. How do you mess that up?
Yeah,
that's the kind of stuff a bad coach would mess up.
Can you tell me this though? And I'm not trying to be a dick here.
No, you are.
I'm not. I'm really not.
No, you are.
I thought Vanderbilt looked
good. They
were
good.
Stronger, and faster than Virginia Tech.
Well, it's one of those things. It's like when Virginia Tech called the good plays, it was all of a sudden it's like, wow, 3 and out. Okay. Or like, boom, big play. Whereas like, I do think that if I was a Vanderbilt fan, I would be very excited that it looks like there's a roster that can compete here, and you have an offensive play caller that is willing to take a chance.
And you got a real quarterback. The way the game is supposed to be played.
I do think that we're going to see Diego Pavia have some bad moments in the SEC against good defenses that just load up the box and force him to beat him with the arm, and they'll have talent on the outside to prevent him from making those throws. That being said, Vanderbilt, I mean, again, good roster. But in this game, that was a coaching victory, and even like the refs, the calls went against Vanderbilt, the mistakes went against Vanderbilt, and in the classic momentum, right? That interception early in the game, you knew exactly. Like we've all seen that game before. But to your point, Sean, the overtime, it was already over by then. I had already seen this game.
But in the back of your head, you think like,
no.
Okay, we got a shot.
No.
Okay.
Well, they couldn't cover. So who cares?
Ryan, interesting. You bring up
everyone
the
gets
spread.
losses.
Colby, the fun nugget, double-digit favorites. Do you know what the record were straight up this week? Every double-digit favorite. 58-1 college football favorites who are double-digit favorites. 58-1 straight up. One loss.
That must have been before last night.
I was going to say,
college.
we're not.
Oh, sorry, you're right. 58-2.
Yeah.
That nugget was from.
But glad
I forgot that was part of it.
Georgia Tech also the Florida State twice.
No, this is week 2. This is week 1.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So RIP there, and I mean, while we're talking freezing cold takes, do you guys want to apologize for your just horrible misleading of the audience with West Virginia?
No.
I mean, they never had a chance.
No,
Drew Aller just picking them apart.
I said
that was
on these very waves.
That was a limp-dicked effort from Morgantown.
Play that game again without the break.
Oh, come on!
Play that game again without the break.
The break always.
I can't go. I think they would have got beat. But I'll say
the break always helps the home team. They were never in that game. You guys.
No,
were
that shit was empty
wrong.
when it came back. That shit was empty.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. But having a break helps the home team, and they were getting their ass kicked before. They got their ass kicked after. There was a 60-minute ass whooping.
I'm with you.
By Drew Aller.
I think they could have played this anytime, and Penn State
played it on the fucking moon. They wouldn't have covered.
But I said Drew Aller's got to prove it to me. Well, guess what?
Did he
prove it to me? So now I will take.
So is this guy
I'm
good?
buying into
that was one game
with that offensive coordinator coming over from Kansas.
What happened?
He's really a real difference maker.
He doesn't need to be good. They put good people around him. They have good coaches. He can be average and succeed in this
Penn
offense.
State's not good though.
Their wideouts are better than this year than last year too. So
yes, that was in that. If you listen to me, I was trying to tell you.
Well, look, Drew Aller's got to prove it. He's got to prove it to me, and that was the first time he's actually played good on the road in his college career, in my opinion.
I mean, if you had an ACC team as a long shot to win the conference, you got to be feeling pretty good about yourself right now.
Well, I mean, first, you do realize that the Virginia Tech loss is not a conference loss. First of all,
still, it's
you
a
can't
bad
be
start.
Encouraged by like
no. Yeah, true. Well, you also probably are looking at Miami and saying, oh, all right, maybe they are good.
I also was on Miami. You guys tried to talk me.
Same exact thing.
Play the game again if Graham Mertz doesn't.
Now this one I will not go with you, Sean. This one I will not go. Like I said Mario Cristobal's got to prove it to me, but where he's got to prove it to me is being consistent. Because to me, like,
but Cam Ward is much better than Graham Mertz,
of course, and they got up for that game. Florida absolutely could be horrible too. Like that's the one thing we're learning about. Like how good is Georgia Tech? Because Florida State didn't look good last night, so maybe we were overrating Georgia Tech for the rest of the season. Maybe Florida State's just that bad. Well, I think Florida could be that bad too, but Miami looks super impressive. And they proved me wrong, but at the same time, I don't know that I still trust it all year. They got to prove it to me.
I mean,
I'm
Cam Ward looks like Cam Ward.
They beat Texas A&M last year, week 2, and they smacked Texas A&M, and we all bought in.
That's true.
And then a couple weeks later, they're losing to fucking Georgia Tech.
I'm not in on Miami by any means. I just think back against the wall, backing Cam Ward felt a lot better than backing Graham Mertz. So,
in hindsight, yeah, that was good.
Well, and in foresight, you would say, right?
I mean, but it's also easy to reflect on the correct predictions.
Yes.
Okay.
What wrong predictions do you want to bring up? Wyoming never had a fucking chance.
Oh my God,
Colby. I mean,
no, I'd like to bring up you and Colby South Dakota State selection.
That was a bad play
against Oklahoma State. That
was a bad play.
That was a really bad play. I mean, by the way, could we have a running back win the Heisman this year?
In my opinion, the most shocking, like Penn State had to prove it to me, but like Penn State has historically been very good. So like that's okay. Miami on paper, they're always good. Right. The most shocking is Arizona State, what they did to Wyoming. I was dumbfounded on that.
Is that
one.
just Craig Bowl not being there?
I don't know. Or what? The first play of the game was a pick six. It was just like they just.
Wyoming's not a team that's built for surviving.
Exactly, especially on the road. Like they're not a team that comes from behind unless it's in Laramie. But I still like Arizona State. I'm way off on Arizona State. Like I was very, very impressed.
I'm still mad about Lehigh getting the backdoor cover against Lehigh. You don't need to run it up against Lehigh, Army. That was bullshit. They were on the 3-yard line.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, that was that was unfortunate, but fun week of college football. Hey, of course, the free roll football contest is back, better than ever. We're giving away $3,500 in cold hard cash to whoever knows ball the best, aka whoever can pick the most games correct against the spread, picking every NFL game against the spread like we've done at the Sports Gambling Podcast, dating all the way back to 2011. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/free roll, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/free roll. Enter there. Get ready to go. Still time to enter the $500 NFL future contest as well over at Circa, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/phrase, the phrase that pays. Get in over there. And NFL Week 1 picks kicks off tomorrow night, 8:30 Pacific, 11:30 East. But let's get to it, Kramer. Let's talk a little college football here.
All right, we're gonna talk some college. Well, did you want to? We were gonna celebrate
my tease record. I'm.
We can celebrate that. We were gonna celebrate a moment in college football history. If you want to,
sure.
I mean, it just feels like before we get started, because
okay.
I feel like this clip happened at a time where I still remember where I was
15 years ago to the day, which is kind of coincidental because we all are talking Boise State at Oregon later on, and this was an all-time moment between Oregon and Boise State. Of course, we had LeGarrette Blount on the program back in the day. This is just
who, by the way, was honest one of the I don't want to say surprisingly nice guys to make it seem like I expected him to be a dick, but you meet a lot of people at the Super Bowl stuff that are just mailing it in, just trying to get done with the day. He was trying really hard to like do a good job.
Yeah. Almost as hard as he was trying to knock out this dude on Boise State. This is an all-time punch.
Classic.
And he sees it coming a little bit. Boom, just right to the
But
jaw.
he talked shit before that.
He must have said something.
Yeah, no, I think he.
It came out. He said a racial slur.
I mean, he just turns and just unleashes a cannon to the head. I mean, he wipes. It's so great if you watch it in slow motion. If you can pull it back a little bit, Ryan. The kid is smiling
until he gets punched.
Smiling right there, turns his head. He literally wiped the smile right off his face.
That was great.
So, yeah, I mean, there's a couple things here. One, if you're gonna talk shit, why are you taking your helmet off?
Well, he didn't think LeGarrette Blount was going to punch him in the head.
Well, you should think about things before you keep.
I mean, they won the game. Hey, talk some shit. Say something crazy to LeGarrette Blount.
Yeah, wear your helmet when you do that.
That, in hindsight, he probably does regret that.
All right. Yeah, I mean, again, you should. It's like the hockey players. Just keep the helmet on. It's probably safer under there. All right. I assume this is Thursday night football. Friday night football. Oh, Garth, what are you trying? You trying to get some equipment over there? He's getting excited about this BYU. Heard of soaking, looking for some sheets. Friday night, 4 p.m. on the West Coast. We're heading to Dallas, Texas, where BYU takes on the SMU alumni. Got to be wondering what they spent all the money on. SMU laying 11 points here, -400 on the money line. BYU +320. 55.5 is the total. This is not a neutral site, correct?
No. This is at Gerald Ford Stadium there in Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
I mean, what am I missing? Why is this spread 11 points? I get it. Maybe they're just writing off that game against Nevada as like, oh,
preseason week
that
one.
was an outlier game, but I don't know. BYU getting 11 points. BYU 4-2 ATS in their last 6 games as double-digit underdogs. Colby, this is great. Do you know this last time BYU played SMU 27 years ago? They shared the same conference. Do you recall which conference it was?
My first thought would be the WAC.
All Western Athletic Conference. Yes. 27 years ago,
and they played in the Classic Holiday Bowl in 1980. That very famous game that our boy Jim McMahon played in.
Oh wow, taking us way back. Yeah. I think BYU is a solid team. I think they're going to show up for this game. I think they're going to be competitive, playing on a Friday night. I mean, Jake Retzlaff, quarterback for the BYU, he was looking pretty good.
So
I mean, Colby, what do we? I know you came in and you were hyping up SMU and all the money they spent and the high-powered offense, but I'm still skeptical. I think BYU is going to be in the mix of this game. 11 feels definitely high for me.
I feel like the football team had a banquet underneath some eerie, rocky building where they were forced to drink blood or something and be reminded of the opportunity they had in front of them to play for the Illuminati. I mean, the SMU.
Mormon First Methodist has a nice ring to it, right?
I feel like you guys are trying to push that on the college experience. I don't mind it. It's worth a t-shirt, right?
Yeah.
Which side are you on
for this game?
No,
or in general?
for like for the religion. You on the Methodist side or the Mormon side?
That's a good question.
Yeah. I've dabbled in both.
I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go down to Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
Look,
they seem to have rules, and then there's the stuff you can do that outside.
Oh, I'm not delighted on either scenario, but I think if I had to pick one, I'm with you, Shad. BYU, I think is Kalani Sitake is a really good football coach. I think. I know he's been on the hot seat, but I think his teams are pretty good. Last season, he made the mistake of getting Keaton Slovis, which that sucks. Happens, and when he destroys teams.
Every once in a while, you accidentally get Keaton.
Well, you
Slovis.
saw it. It got Clay Helton fired at USC. You saw Narduzzi say, "Hey, this is a great idea. Let's get Keaton Slovis." And they had a horrible season. So
he's like the plague taking out college football coaches.
DC Defenders drafted him in the XFL or whatever the
honestly,
UFL, and I was like, that fade them next year.
The modern 5-star quarterback that like can't develop because he goes from program to program is just going to crater. They're going to get the coach fire.
So yeah, let's load up. Another thing is Tragic Magic. Their DC Jay Hill had a heart attack. BYU. So
didn't know that.
I think they play up for him. I think they're live to win this game too, man. I'm not sold on just the fact that SMU is some juggernaut yet, even though they're spending like it.
They did put up some offense last week against a little bit of a speed bump. Are we not going to credit that? This is their third game. Not getting any credit for that.
Well, they played one of the worst FCS teams last week.
They got the engines going though, right?
Sure.
I will say after watching SMU that first game, they can't lay points. You can't take SMU laying a big number against anyone right now.
No,
until you see them perform.
Maybe it will really come together. BYU put it on the Salukis. Shout out to Stone Labanowitz, but I mean 41-13. Yeah, granted they were at home and
are they any good this year in the FCS?
No, they're good. Yeah, they're much better than Houston Christian.
Yeah, I think that was a decent win for BYU.
They would lay like 31 to Houston Christian.
But 11, that's crazy. I'm all over BYU here. This feels like a good spot for them.
Let's go.
I mean, it's certainly you got money line opportunities, especially since we've had those BYU people reach out and say they actually have sex. It's not just so.
That's still under investigation.
This is.
Now that they actually have
bet detectives on the case.
Is that what are the Methodists even mad about if there's no soaking?
The only proof we have is that Jim McMahon went there and he showed up to training camp with a 30-pack of Coors Light.
That guy's not. He's
That's the only proof. Bet detective and I are deep on the deep dive.
That guy just oozes sex appeal. Jimmy Mack.
I mean, wait, didn't Zach Wilson go there?
Yeah.
He was definitely plowing.
He's one of those
he was
guys
plowing
who
through the
will
sheets.
get penetration.
All right, let's head over to Evanston, Illinois, where Northwestern is somehow laying points against Duke. 6 p.m. on the late start time here. Is that correct? 6 p.m. on the West Coast.
Yep.
Minus 145 on the money line for Northwestern. We just don't bring up the car wash anymore. Duke plus 125, 36.5 is the total. We got a little Hall of Fame game total here, Sean.
35.5
should
I mean it's hilarious that they are playing in the most beautiful stadium, Northwestern.
Oh my God! I mean, they're killing the.
Why build another stadium?
So you can't exactly, and you can't even see it, dude. We had all the games on here, God's Eye, and we're watching, and me and Patty C are just sitting there saying, "This is a 3-3 game," which I love a good 3-3 game, but it was more so. This
is going to be at what,
stadium,
8 o'clock at night?
Yeah, they're ruining it. They're ruining like they had all those fucking people out there, sailing. It was that was true. Like every pass,
actors?
you could see sailors.
They hired people just to sail in the background. How nice.
I don't know. $800 million for that new stadium. It's going to suck ass. It looks like a soccer
They're not
stadium.
Going to fill it up.
This one's a gem.
Could be
this
rocket.
is a gem.
They should call the new one the car wash. If they had
that.
The Pat Fitzgerald Memorial Car Wash outside.
Indoor car wash.
Come hang out the game. $20 parking. We also will wash your car. Like, wait a minute. Are you actually going to wash my car? Or are you going to do something horrible to me?
Get a statue of the flying squirrel outside of there. Let's go.
Yeah, just
how is their mascot not the flying squirrel? If you had any sense of humor. Northwestern.
Instead of having those automated brushes, they just have the offensive line put some sponges on their dicks.
I don't understand how Northwestern is a favorite. I get that they're at home, but Malik Murphy, come on, that dude is a dog. Coming off a pretty good game, 26 of 40, 291, 2 tutties. He did have 1 interception, but Duke, granted they were playing Elon, but Miami was playing, Northwestern was playing Miami of Ohio, 13-6. Duke at least showed a pulse on the offensive side. I just don't think Northwestern should be favored against a competent Duke team. So I like Duke as a dog here. Northwestern minus 2.5 at home. They're trying to trick you to take in Northwestern. I'm not falling for it. I like Duke here plus 2.5. Colby, what are you doing?
Disagree.
Really? Sorry to hear that.
Really?
Duke did not look impressive to me.
Elon's not very good either.
Well,
is Miami of Ohio very good?
They won the MAC last year. Come on. I will. And David Braun, after he was the interim head coach after the car wash flying squirrel incident. He did a good job. They won.
That's one of the greatest coaching
8
jobs.
games.
Ever.
Yeah. Well, and
to overcome a sex scandal that involved your entire offensive line.
And once again, like I buy into the North Dakota State, South Dakota State angle. This guy was previously the DC at North Dakota State for a lot of years. And what did he do this offseason? Once he got the keys to the ship, he brought in South Dakota State's OC. I think the coaching is much better in Northwestern. I will lay the points there. Lakeside. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still skeptical of the new head coach at Duke here, but
I'm with you.
Them Sean. As a dog, I think is kind of crazy.
We're gonna take Duke. I'll take the quarterback.
I mean, you can get a nice little Duke money line, BYU Eagles money line parlay on Friday night. This is it's going to be awesome. I'm realizing I will barely be watching some of this game. We'll be at the Circa hanging out. I'll be sweating out Eagles versus Packers in Brazil. While also having BYU money line. What a life.
While also getting ready to do the VSiN show.
I will not be getting ready to do that show. That is a lie, Ryan. Come on.
Just
rattle off my picks. Let's go.
That's fine. Georgia Tech. This one means a little bit more to one of us here, because Sean is not only a member of the Boeheim family, but he's now joined the football team as a manager and holder of 100-1 conference winning ticket. I guess.
No, I'm not calling it a winner yet, but
no. The ticket is for them to win the conference.
Oh yes.
At 100-1, Georgia Tech, the wrong Tech. They're heading up for the weird trip in the Illuminati conference. Imagine when Stanford has to go up to Syracuse. What a long.
I think that happens in a couple weeks.
Yeah, +3 for Syracuse at home in the Carrier Dome or whatever it's called today. +130 on the money line. Georgia Tech -150. 62.5 is the total. Fair to maybe ponder if Georgia Tech's impressive performance is less impressive.
It is weird seeing Boston College beat the shit out of Florida State. You go, wait, is Georgia Tech any good? Now obviously Syracuse struggled a little bit early against Ohio, but I think, hey, new head coach, first game. I'm honestly kind of surprised that they're a 3-point dog here in this spot. I think they're going to get up for this game. I like the situation. I like what I saw to Kyle McCord.
Can we talk about this, because like this is suddenly like a huge game.
Yeah,
we just said Virginia Tech doesn't look like they're projected to be. That was
0 losses in the conference.
That was one of the games on the schedule for Syracuse that you're saying.
I know. When I looked at Syracuse, I was like, "Oh, awesome! They don't have Florida State." But now I'm disappointed. You get a cream puff victory in there.
Yeah, well, if Georgia Tech wins this, they'll be 2-0 within the conference.
This will be a huge win for Georgia Tech.
Game that we thought it was going to be
if they pull it off. But I think Syracuse, the fans are clearly behind the team. They're going to get up for this. Kyle McCord again. 4 touchdowns. He did throw 1 pick, but he looked fully in command of that offense. Certainly there are questions on the defensive side. I am worried about Georgia Tech being able to run the ball against Syracuse. I mean, Georgia Tech is a tough team to get a handle on, right? Because they looked awesome dominating the line of scrimmage against Florida State, but then so did Boston College. Now, maybe Boston College and Georgia Tech secretly have some of the best offensive and defensive lines, or maybe this offensive and defensive line units that we were pounded over the head saying, "Oh, it's the best in the conference, best in the league, best in college football." Maybe that was just all bullshit, and Georgia Tech's good, but they're not great, and you get Syracuse as a home dog.
No, I kind of buy into the fact that they have similar game plans that can fuck with Florida State. Now, I think both offensive lines are the strength of those teams, Boston College and Georgia Tech. So I am going to buy into that. And I also think, like I said, Bill O'Brien had coached Brent Key in college, so I'm sure they probably traded information. I'm buying into Georgia Tech having some guys, man. That running back Jamal Haynes is a fucking stud.
Yeah, he's good. He didn't come down easy.
Same with Singleton and Rutherford at the wide receiver spot. So
I think Georgia Tech
Haynes King. Yeah.
Georgia Tech. It's tough to shit on them, but I don't know if they should be a road favorite in a conference game against this Syracuse team.
I just worry about the Syracuse D. Syracuse got some guys. Obviously, Aronde Gadsden's a stud. He'll be in the NFL. But I just think it's year 1 at Syracuse. You're learning how to win. Whereas like this is 2.5 with Brent Key. I'm gonna take that as the difference there. Give me the Yellow Jackets to get it done in that filthy Carrier Dome.
They're gonna learn how to get their ass kicked up in Syracuse.
Well, it's 3 officially. I heard Colby try to sneak.
No, he was talking about 2.5, meaning. Or did you? Oh, were you talking about 2? What were you talking about when you said 2.5? The spread?
What? When did I say 2.5?
Oh, I thought you were talking like year 2.5.
Yeah, 2.5.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. Brent Key was the interim head coach.
Got it.
So this is his second and a.
I thought you were trying to shave a half point off the number.
He would never do that, Kramer. He would never.
He's already got.
Please, if you are,
he's already got a better number.
We appreciate the bimodal audience, the audience that goes both ways. They go to TC.
Is that a D3 school?
They go to SGP.
Bimodal.
We rely on you guys to rat out. Free T-shirt for anyone who catches Colby Benedicted. Actually, you know what? $50 SGPN gift card.
Wow,
for anyone
there we go.
Who
go
catches
deep sea diving.
Colby Benedicted. It could be a tweet. It could be him picking screenshots of tally side. Any evidence reported to SGPN office.
If you have evidence of tax fraud, report it.
See something, say something, audience.
Look, as long as you haven't placed the bet.
Yeah.
The game, you find information out.
Yeah, that's
find information out.
That's true.
What was that?
I gotta turn this up.
Poggi telling us 9 starters are out. That's information. That's information that you need.
With his tits hanging out.
Yeah, I'm just saying, whatever team.
Biff Poggi with just the like almost those like beer models in the 80s with like the fucking side tits just hanging out.
What game was it this weekend where like they got to start?
All my guys are out. Hey, Biff, you're moving the number, man. What are you doing?
A lot of these conferences are doing injury reports this year, but there was one game. I'm drawing a blank on it right now. Somewhere Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. You sit back and you're like, oh, I'm excited to see this offense. And then the best player on the offense, it was the Western Michigan game, and it still hit for us. But Western Michigan's stud receiver It's like, yeah, you find out 5 minutes before kick he's just not going to play. You're like, perfect. This is going to go fun. But yeah, it worked out.
I mean, sometimes you realize college still has enough variance. All right, so yeah, I mean, I appreciate Sean's optimism, but I do think that the Georgia Tech offense looks to be a unit that's going to have some success, and I think the this team looks like they are poised. It's going to be like the old days when Georgia Tech was good at football.
All right, we're going to skip to the Arkansas Oklahoma State game, but before we do, of course, shout out to Underdog Fantasy. Ryan, if you give me a sweet close up, I can just bring up the Arkansas or bring up the sweet graphic we got there of Underdog while I tell people how awesome Underdog Fantasy is, and it's great, obviously, for the National Football League, also for college football. You can get a little no sweat entry. I just did a no sweat entry earlier today. It didn't hit, but hey, it doesn't matter. I got my cash back. I already got one in for Thursday night opening NFL. Carson Steele to get a touchdown.
Bink.
Isaiah Likely to get a touchdown.
Bink.
That's 45x payout, and you get the sweet deposit match up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you go to underdogfantasy.com and you use that promo code SGPN. Kramer, I'm taking a look here at the college football slate. Anything we talked to SMU BYU at SMU. I think, I mean, this is, to me, is kind of crazy. You can get Jake Retzlaff higher, 1.5 passing touchdowns, and that is a spicy play. So yes, underdogfantasy.com, promo code SGPN. Head over there, get the sweet deposit match, 50% deposit match up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Underdogfantasy.com, promo code SGPN. Joining us in studio to talk Arkansas, Oklahoma State. What's happening, my man?
Have you guys seen the volleyball players there in Stillwater?
I have.
They got some asses that just make you want to pop. All right, let me tell you that right now.
Okay, well,
pop like the sidecar on that motorcycle, Coach.
Very, very special guest, of course, Bobby Petrino here to break down Arkansas, Oklahoma State. Kramer, what is the number? Would love to get. It's rare that a head coach will join you on a gambling show to predict his own game, but this is, offensive coordinator, but this is really a great opportunity.
Yeah, 9 a.m. on the West Coast. We're heading to Stillwater. As I was on Oklahoma State last week, Coach. I wonder how you feel about it this week. Oklahoma State laying the 7.5, which tells you something. Arkansas plus 240 on the money line. 62.5 is the total.
Let me tell you, I know a few women up in good old Stillwater, and I can tell you, it is a good time. All right, if you go out there, had a few 7 and 7s. All right, and let me tell you,
7 and 7, huh?
What happens in Stillwater stays in Stillwater.
Yes, and I can tell you, my offense is going to run through that like I ran through those goddamn women. Let's go! All right, give me the Razorbacks.
Well, they certainly ran through Arkansas Pine Bluff, 70-0.
I did that on one day prep because I was hanging out with Bethany. All right, let me tell you, Bethany, she's got an ass.
Shout out to Bethany. Oh. Ass doesn't quit. Her ass doesn't quit like Ollie Gordon doesn't quit. I mean, you want to talk about Heisman asses.
I've been to the Olive Garden. Let me tell you, I've been to the Olive Garden. It's a great place. All right. The waitresses off of Highway 19 are fantastic. But I'm telling you, I'm not scared about this Olive Garden shit. All right.
So you go to the Olive Garden for ladies, huh, Coach? Not just the breadsticks.
You go anywhere. All right. You go anywhere off Highway 19. You are going to run into top-notch grade A talent that this country hasn't seen much of.
Now, Coach Petrino, I respect you coming on the show, but I'm just worried about your defense. You're talking offense, that's one thing, but Oklahoma State, I mean, Ollie Gordon feels like he may just run all over the Razorbacks. I think they're in a pretty good spot here. I think they're making it 7.5 to try and scare you away. I'm a man. I'm 40. Come at me. I like Oklahoma State here, laying the 7 and the hook. Kramer, what are you doing?
Well, I mentioned that the number being 7.5 tells you everything you need to know.
Yes, come on.
And I understand that we're probably buying a slight high price on Oklahoma State. I think this number is a slight uptick from where we saw the game of the year prices in the preseason. So, but the bet splits tell you why. The money's come in early on Oklahoma State. They look like they're going to be once again a team that's going to compete for the conference. I know early overreaction, coach, but I think it's probably a good thing to have a couple losses, right?
Well,
for you personally, maybe
Are
not
you trying
the team.
to sell them on the Virginia Tech strategy?
let me tell you. Have you guys seen this stud, Taylor Green? Have you seen him deliver the ball?
It's very nice.
Because the guy is dynamic like Dan Marino's wife, right? He can throw the ball all over the field. We're going to score a lot of points. It reminds me, one time I had my firewood stolen at my house. Right?
Who would do that, coach?
Is that a metaphor?
What's that? Can you
Well,
break that down?
Bobby Petrino not knowing what a metaphor really
right?
tracks.
When you got a lady in the sidecar, you might have some
Gundy's
firewood.
defense is running? A metaphor? 3-4 metaphor?
Yeah.
But
They like to
our
run out of
college
the
football
metaphor.
expert Colby Dant is actually calling in. Colby, what are you up to?
Just sipping that beautiful whiskey you guys gave me for Christmas.
No, Colby, come on. We're trying to talk about this game.
565.
All right,
That was Linda's number. It started 565 area code.
I was gonna say that's probably how many rushing yards Arkansas
You like
allows per
fake
game.
tits, Sean?
Yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah. Well, look, you felt up on fake tits. That's the way it's going to feel after you cash with Taylor Green and Jaquindon Jackson.
I was just thinking if you guys lose a couple games, then maybe you could have a more prominent position on campus, leading to maybe more opportunities off the field, if you know what I mean, Coach.
Look, Sam's a good guy. He's a good guy. I've seen him turn down scattered ass all through Fayetteville. But that's how I know he's not right for the job. I can deliver dubs like you ain't ever seen.
That's what I mean. You need a loss to get those dubs, you know?
And I got an NIL deal. Jerry's Motorcycles off Highway 19 as well.
Great NIL.
right.
You should talk to
Coach.
John Daly. He's got the hookup at Hooters.
John's a great guy. Great guy. I've talked to him a lot. I've talked to him a lot in my day.
Now watch me hit this drive. All right, Coach, are you taking Arkansas in the points, or are you worried about Oklahoma State?
It's a money line play. Look, I know Mike for a while. I've admired his hair, and I can tell you this is we're gonna win this game. We're a better team. It's an old rivalry game, and like I said, I never lost a thing in Stillwater. All right, so I'm undefeated in Stillwater, and I'm coming to your town. Go Pokes! What does that really mean?
I don't know.
Yeah,
No.
you got to know somebody. You got to know somebody for that one.
Metaphorical. All right, so Kramer and I are in Oklahoma State -7.5. Coach Petrino is taking his Razorbacks. Woo, pig +7.5. All right.
I didn't actually realize John Daly went to Arkansas.
Come on.
Did he
buddy.
graduate?
Everybody that goes there is graduating. All right.
I didn't think the bar.
You can drive the ball 300 yards. You graduate.
I haven't ever told the story on air, but based on my personal experiences in Arkansas, the bar is low and there's no need to go back because you're just going to trip.
All right. Texas at Michigan.
Yeah.
What's the number? What are we doing?
I knew a girl named Stephanie that I had a few Lone Stars with there in Austin.
It's a Mad Dog, maybe.
Yeah. And let me tell you, Texas women are different. All right, they're different. So they're gonna go into the big house and get that dub. I think
it's an early kick, 9 a.m. on the West Coast. Beautiful Ann Arbor. I was talking to merch god Jake before the show. He's going to be in Vegas for NFL Week 1 with us. Was very upset he has to wake up for the early kick. Was hoping it would be a night game. I'm kind of with him. The TV executives that are running college football, how have they not figured out that yes, I'm sure the noon slot's a good one, but this is a game you got to play with some lights involved. Texas -7.5, cooking so much that even Arch Manning got a touchdown.
Yeah.
Things are firing on all cylinders. -290 on the money line. Michigan +240, 42.5 is the total. Michigan looks like a program that's missing something, like maybe a championship head coach and a shitload of big time players.
I mean, they put up 23 against Fresno State. They did have the pick 6. They they almost backdoored it, didn't get it done. But one, I mean, Texas could be good. I know it was Colorado State, but they shut them out. And Colorado State, I think, is they're like a quality Mountain West team. I mean, I wasn't thinking they were going to go in and win outright, but
they easily covered a decent sized spread.
Yeah, like they just manhandled.
They doubled
the
it
Rams.
up almost.
Well, take it from a man who has also been in disguise with a mustache and perhaps a different hat on. That matters that matters. I like this Connor Stallions thing. You see that documentary?
Oh,
see that documentary?
What a fluff piece.
I think the Stallions guy's a good guy, and he's a D coordinator now in Detroit High School, and they gave up 57 in the first game.
I will say,
Dick Puncher, Michigan alum, or at least big fan, pointing out their own line got stuffed on 3rd and inches by Fresno. Yeah. Fresno, like it's a quality. It's like a talent thing. It's a personnel thing. It's a coaching thing. They're just, they're a good program still, but they're not that dominant team, and the spread reflects that. I think as much as I'm normally horns down, Texas laying 7.5 on the road, as crazy as it sounds, I think that's what you got to do.
Back-to-back games where the spread is telling you everything you need to know.
I was recently watching Debbie Does Dallas again.
Well, that's a classic, Coach.
It just inspired me. Look at this. Look at this right here.
Cole,
don't pull that out, Coach. What are you doing?
Yeah, Coach, you can't. That's how you can't do that on the internet anymore.
Yeah, give me Texas. Debbie Does Dallas. Fantastic movie.
Has someone done it already? But the premise of just getting a bunch of like 23-year-old, maybe even younger, like 19-year-old college age kids to watch old porn and just be thoroughly annoyed with how long it is. Like, that's
right,
just
you're giving the creep portion of our audience a lot of ideas.
Oh, it just seems
I think
it's a funny like a documentary.
I think actually David Tell did like a Mystery
like
Science
guy to do that with
3000, but for like old porno.
Oh, that sounds like a perfect David.
Someone Google David Tell old porn and see what comes up. Maybe Coach Petrino. Coach, we appreciate your time. Maybe you should go out and find Colby. I know Colby's out there. Colby, what are you up to now?
I think Blake Bortles is better than Dak Prescott.
Jesus.
All right, maybe you should go see if Colby's available.
Appreciate you for my time. I'll see you off of Highway 19.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate
that was very exciting. Take time away from his whoring.
You have to watch you have to check out the Patreon episode where we did the deep dive on the Bobby Petrino with the forensic files, because Colby kept the neck brace on the entire episode. So
it was a real commitment to it was Daniel Day-Lewis level shit. All right.
Yeah.
Shall we? The show must go on.
Show must go on.
That sound you hear is not Colby getting back into the room. That's Garth being upset that Coach Petrino was in here without a lady. 9 a.m. Another 9 a.m. Kick here on the early slate on Saturday morning is good, Sean. We might have to get up in Vegas.
Yeah, this is going to be brutal with the Eagles game Friday night.
I know it's going to feel like you don't have that break. Heading to Nollins, little private school action here. Tulane, Kansas State. Kansas State laying 10.5 on the road, -380 plus 300. For Tulane, 48.5 is the total. A little curious as to how this one made the card.
Well, I put this here for a lot of reasons. There was 2 games here that deserved to be here that wouldn't be here from years past, because we have a 12-team playoff.
Oh boy!
And these games become way bigger. The fact that Tulane recently beat Kansas State in the Little Apple, but if Tulane gets this win, there's a good shot that K-State, they're definitely going to be an 8-9 win team. So you're going to have that chip going up against whoever else, whether it's Boise, whether it's East Carolina, whoever.
So you're saying they're picking up ammo for if they
this
run
is
the
this is so much more gigantic than it used to be, is my point. And that's why the 12-team playoff is better. You strengthen the regular season. This is a perfect example. We'll get to another one in a little bit, but this is one that is way more meaningful now than it was before.
Yeah, to me, Tulane seems a bit frisky at home here. I don't know, catching this big of a number. What do you make of this, Colby?
I'm on Tulane here. Like I think K-State
Menza.
dude.
Is that how you pronounce
from San
it?
Luis Obispo? right?
So a very smart guy.
And then Mario Williams, who was once the I do, and
he did look good. He's a true redshirt freshman, but he looked sharp.
Basically a true freshman nowadays.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that they also have, if he struggles, Ty Thompson's a guy that's been in college football forever. Oregon transfer. Yeah. And then Mario Williams, who was the #1 recruit in the nation at wideout a couple years ago, who lit it up in Oklahoma his first year. For whatever reason, it didn't work out at USC last year. He transferred to Tulane. What a get. I just think John Summerall also, with bringing in a lot of his defensive guys from Troy, I think they can hang around in this game, and I think they're going to be alive. I also think this place is going to be on fire because they know the magnitude of this. If they win this game and you have that win, it can mean a lot come, late November, early December. So give me the green wave. Let's go.
I was digging into their NIL stuff. They're funded.
What do you get, like a beignet endorsement? What
it seems like they have
Hurricanes.
Well, it seems like they have a half dozen guys with $250,000 valuations, which I would say that's probably above average for a.
No, I think Tulane has some talent. I don't know if Kansas State. This feels like it's going to be a bit of a game. 10.5 on the road for K-State feels a bit large. So yeah, I like Tulane as a home dog. Kramer, are you?
Yeah, we're taking the dog here.
Discord on Kansas State laying the 10.5 on the road.
That's to Colby's point. Although Sean, we did say before the show that Colby was making a lot of bad picks, and we needed to make sure we avoided agreeing with him too much.
He was on Vandy. Got us on Pavia.
I was on Boston College.
That's true. So was I. That was fun.
I was on Georgia Tech money line.
Yes,
you had some good picks.
Dare you come at me?
All right. Next up, we got the game of the weekend. Perhaps Iowa State. Always a good one. This one's in Iowa City, Iowa. Said Iowa a lot there. Iowa laying 2.5 -135 on the money line, +115 coming back the other way. 35.5 is the total. Lowest total we'll see on the week. I'm
Under
sure.
will cash.
It does seem like this game is bound to
Army
be
Navy
13-7 or something like 13.
Yeah.
Actually, I take that back. There's not going to be any 12-6.
Well, Ferentz had Kirk Ferentz had that 1 game suspension. They finally got their offense going. They got old man Ferentz out of the way.
He doesn't even know how to
rev
cheat.
things up.
Well, that's how you know he's not cheating too much. They didn't know how to.
I just called him. No, you're not supposed to call. What was it, Colby? It was like he didn't follow the portal guidelines or something.
I think it was something like that. I don't know that they actually released the entire story, but I believe it was something that with Cade McNamara coming over.
Yeah,
one of their coaches recruited him in high school, so they had some type of connection there. And then when he was benched or whatever, I'm assuming that there was some type of illegal contact, like texting him and saying, "You have an opportunity to come here."
The DMs.
Yeah.
It's like, come on,
Kirk
guys.
Ferentz sliding in.
No, I don't think it'd be DMs. He has like the rotary phone. It's like they just track that. But I like the Hawkeyes here, guys.
Oh, I like Iowa big time.
The last time Iowa State came here, they won.
Yeah.
And the fact that Iowa has so many 6 and 7 year guys on that defense.
They had a shutout. I mean, a shutout. I don't care who you're playing. A shutout in college football is fucking impressive.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think the offense will continue to take a step forward, even with Ferentz coming back. Caleb Johnson's a good back. Luke Lachey, son of Jim Lachey, the former Redskin. And I just think this offense is going to continue to take a step forward. Meanwhile, I think Rocco Becht and Iowa State I think they're still going to end up like a bowl team, but I just think sophomore slump, man. You start going around Ames, all the scattered ass going around there. You start focusing less and less on football, and it's a bad spot for
you.
them.
Mentioned the Redskins. Have to be a proud moment seeing Todd Bowles refer to them as the Redskins.
He's a real one.
Most excited I've seen Colby in a long time.
He's a real one. You know what I mean? We all know. All right. just gotta own in. Lean into it more.
So the game that Colby was mentioning, Iowa State won 10-7. Here are the matchups between Iowa State and Iowa last 5 years, Sean.
Yes.
Iowa 13, Iowa State 3, Iowa 18, Iowa State 17, Iowa 27-17. Whoa, 10-7 and then 20-13 last year. how could you possibly play the over here? Although worth noting, on September 9th, 2017, they played a game 44-41.
What happened there?
What the fuck, right?
Well, it's funny because they actually played a game in 2011, 44-41 as well, but that one took 3 overtimes.
That wasn't Matt Campbell though.
No. Matt Campbell only has 1 win against Iowa.
Yeah.
So, to have that revenge angle and it does seem like the one bet that I made in college football that I feel very confident about right now after the first 2 weeks of overreaction is Iowa to make the playoff. This defense, there's no way.
And shout out to Scott Reichel. He tweeted out his -180 Florida State not to make the college football playoff after they go 0-2. It's great play there. Hey, speaking of great plays, hopping in the lab real quick over on Rhythm, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. Put your goggles on, Kramer.
Nope. I'm not wearing a condom tonight.
You're raw dogging
wearing a condom tonight.
Well, very fitting. BYU and SMU. My model likes it. The Rhythm model likes it. Both enjoying the idea of BYU and the points. Catching 10.5. They have this. Let's see what the final score. They have it like within 5 points. My model and the Rhythm model. So get in over there. They're saying 67.7 win probability on the They had it at 10.5. We took it at I think 11. So even getting an extra half point of value there. It's so fun to build your own college football model in Rhythm and then compare it and see like, oh, okay, I like my model likes this. Rhythm's model likes this. It's a lead pipe block.
Can I share that Veronica loves BYU plus Veronica thinks it should be 6.1.
Yeah. The models cannot wrap their heads around this.
Now, Skylar, not as bullish on,
okay.
Just,
you can't please everyone.
Skylar is a lukewarm angle to SMU. So
really,
we'll have to, maybe we have to recalibrate Skylar. Right. Skylar is a weird name, so I always can discard
coming
it
to the main stage. Skylar. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. Get your free 7-day trial. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. Ryan, we're staying in Utah.
Yes.
Utah at home against Baylor. What's the number?
We're staying in Utah.
Well, I just mentioned BYU.
Well, we were coming from Iowa City.
SMU though.
Yeah, a lot of confusing elements to your geography there. Stick to the elevation, Sean. Baylor heads to Utah. Salt Lake City, to be specific. Beautiful town. 3.2 beer. Enjoy that if you're a beer drinker. Utah laying 14 here. Is this a reaction to Baylor or Utah? -650 on the money line. 475 for Baylor. 54.5 is the total. I know this is another one of the numbers that has grown a little bit since open. I think there's even some 14.5s out there. So make sure you're shopping.
That's kind of crazy, but I mean, Utah at home. I'm just going to take Utah at home every single time. Unless 64-47-4 ATS, one of the best teams in college football against the spread at home. They also have a little extra rest. You also got the high elevation early on in the season, which seems to even impact them more. It's really tough to go into Salt Lake and get a win, especially with this Baylor team. God knows what's going on with them. Maybe 14 is too big, but how can you fade Utah at home? It makes no sense. Colby, what are you doing?
No, I'm with you. Like you go back to Cam Rising's last season. He played, he missed the entire season last year. So 2022, you'd have to go back to this team. The only team that kept it close with them was with Caleb Williams and USC. That was the only 1-score game at home. They blew everybody out by like 30 points. This is one of the best home field environments that's not talked about enough in college football, in my opinion.
Now Baylor did put it on Tarleton State, but that's at home. This is a different environment.
Daquan Finn has not played in anything like this. I don't think. I mean, I think maybe they played at Ohio State, but still they got worked in that game. I just can't see them coming in there. Even though I think Baylor and Dave Aranda are going to survive the season. I think they're probably going to be a bowl team, but I just think this is a bad spot. It's man.
Big number.
Yeah, I'll lay the 14.
It is big and maybe they don't run it up in the second half, but still, this feels like 31-7. I'm 31-14.
Yeah, I just
like
can't.
Utah's going to be able to put up points, and I'm more so. It's like I think Baylor needs to get to like 20 to cover this, and I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
Baylor letting up 3 touchdowns, Utah letting up 3 touchdowns. I don't.
They're always so good on special teams too. I just no.
Yeah.
My model has 16.3. UTSA.
So you're on Utah, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Some of these are simple systems.
Well, yeah, you still have to give out your pick though.
No, that's what I said. My model has 16.3. Okay. That's not Skylar or Veronica. That's one I haven't debuted yet. UTSA, Texas State. This one I'm not going to give Colby shit. 1 p.m. on the West Coast. I'm fine with this one being on the card.
Well, this is the other one that I was alluding to when I said Kansas State Tulane. This is like a playoff game right here. Yeah. You have the team that's
UTSA.
The team that's projected to play for the Sun Belt Championship, Texas State, and the team that could be playing for the AAC Championship like they did recently, UTSA.
Which conference you think has a better path?
I mean, I think the AAC because they have a better. They have a better path. They also have a better TV contract and
perception.
But Texas State might be in a spot. Texas State looked really bad against Lamar last week, but I'm under the belief that maybe they were doing what Hawaii did against Delaware State, knowing that this is a rivalry game, battle of the I-35 here, and they don't like each other. They don't like each other. So I think you keep it vanilla against Lamar, which is what he was doing. Now UTSA has Josh McCown's son at the quarterback spot there, Owen McCown.
Great name, Owen McCown.
Not as good as the backup's name, Eddie Lee Marlborough. So,
does he look like his name suggests? I'll pull him up.
Yeah, he's
Lee Marlborough.
Marburger, I believe.
Marlborough.
Yeah.
I thought you said Marlborough.
No.
Nope. Does not. He looks like a Skylar actually.
I'm going to go with the home team. I think they've been waiting for this. I think that they were playing hooky last week, and I think this is the chance that they've been waiting for. This program has been built for it. DJ Kenny year 2. They went out and got the JMU starting quarterback, Sun Belt Player of the Year a year ago, Jordan McLeod. I think this is a huge one. I think they know the magnitude of this game with their chances to make the 12-team playoff. And I'll even say this: their chances probably improve because remember they play Arizona State, which looks like a much harder game now.
Yeah.
But I think that schedule strengthens, and you could really see a path for them to get to the 12-team playoff.
Yeah, because I like UTSA usually in general. You mentioned Owen McCown had a good first game there. He was a backup to Frank Harris back in the day.
And Jack Sons brings up a good point in the chat. He's right. DJ Kenny is going up against his old high school coach.
Oh shit!
Yeah, that's a really cool angle of this game.
Who, by the way, Sean,
You're not worried about the Bobcats passing defense, Colby?
No, I mean, look, I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah,
I really think it's going to be a close game. So I could totally see a scenario where UTSA wins.
And you're not saying meep because that's really fun to do on the show.
I'm not. I think this place is going to be rocking, and I think remember Frank Harris was their quarterback for so long, so yes. I think McCown is got to learn that, and the fact that they have McLeod coming in as the Sun Belt Player of the Year a year ago at JMU, I think they have a little bit of a leg up. So I'm going to take Texas State in the home crowd there.
I mean, I'm close, so I get.
Dude, listen to this.
I'm going UTSA. Meep.
So he's from Mesquite. It's Kinney.
Yeah, you gonna bring up his dad?
Well, no, I was gonna say he's from Mesquite, Texas. Went to a school called Canton High School. Yeah, and you mentioned the high school coach. His dad was also his high school coach. Got shot by a fucking.
That was a big story. You remember
disgruntled parent?
Yeah, it was a huge story.
It's funny that now we're talking about. It was in 2005. I do remember it. Yeah, that's wild. We're getting fucking old. But yeah, this Sean. What I was gonna say is, did you know that he coached for the Eagles in 2019? He was the offensive special projects coordinator. Well, I wonder what you do if you're the offensive special He then went on to be the Hawaii OC and quarterbacks coach, UCF OC and quarterbacks coach, head coach in Incarnate Ward. Had a really
big time season. That
had
year
a really
too.
good season. And who was the quarterback?
Cam Ward.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. And then now he's at Texas State. So.
But Josh McCown did play for the Eagles. He was also the Zoom quarterback. I don't know if you remember that when the government locked us in our houses. And he was one of those guys that they had like they basically were like, hey, we don't want you around the rest of the team because if the rest of the team gets COVID, we're gonna need someone to come in and play quarterback. So he worked from home. He lived in Texas, did all the Zoom meetings where they brought down the plays, and he was just like kind of helping break down film and stuff. So I'm a McCown guy through and through. I think he's actually gonna. He's in the mix. I think he will be coaching at the NFL level at some point. So I'm taking UTSA and the point right now, but
Sean,
Colby makes a good case for Texas.
He also
State.
played for the Eagles.
Yes, he was the guy that came in when Jadeveon Clowney speared Carson Wentz in the back of the head and killed what was left of his brain and knocked him out of that game. Then Josh McCown came in after he was dealing with like a.
Oh no, he's talking about GJ
I'm
Kinney.
Back to Kinney. A similar story, but after injuries to Michael Vick and Nick Foles in the 2013 season.
GJ Kinney, baby. I remember him coming.
And you're going against him? Texas State all day.
Eagle on eagle quarterback situation here.
Yeah, seriously.
There's an amazing photo of GJ Kinney that that I have to send you before we move on. Please I sent it to you in Slack.
Yeah, we'll get this up.
it's worth it. There are some great. I mean, he's a guy. He played NFL football, but kind of looks like a bit of a dweeb. I don't know why he's cracking me up.
What it is. The K metric would have caught this. I would have predicted there would have not going to be some success in his future. All right,
what are you doing, Kramer?
Oh, I'm at Texas State all day, baby.
Okay,
come on. We just did this whole deep dive on the coach.
Yeah, well, you act like I'm crazy where you don't actually announce what team you're back.
Colby heard me.
Colby, at any point did he say, "Give me Texas State minus"?
I said at the very end. Yeah, we crescendoed to a pick, and then I released all over the audience. 4 p.m. on the West Coast. We're heading to Champaign, Illinois, Kansas, and Illinois. This one actually more than the UTSA Texas State game made me think, why are we talking about this one? Kansas laying 5 on the road, minus 200 on the money line. Illinois still coached by Brett Bielema of the Joe Judge coaching tree, plus 170 on the money line. 55.5 is the total. Can't get behind Joe Judge coaching tree guys. Very difficult.
But Illinois has been good in its last 12, 9-3 ATS. If they're a dog of 5 or more, they've won 4 of their last 6 outright in those covers. Kansas, not normally a road favorite, 1-2 in the Leipold era. That's kind of interesting. Illinois has that big ass back Fagan. This is interesting. I'm not looking to back Illinois by any means, but can you take Kansas laying this number? Jalen Daniels, they ran it up. They pulled a bunch of guys. He did throw 1 pick. Colby, where are you at with this one?
Yeah, I'm going to take a shot on the Illini here. Like Kansas was up 28-7 at the half last season, kind of whooped Illinois' ass. I think Illinois has been thinking about that all year, and I think their offense has taken some steps forward since that game. And meanwhile, Jalen Daniels, he's been dinged up so much. We haven't really seen him.
Very mysterious.
Almost
career.
Like since this game, I feel
Hasn't
like
he had a weird career.
Yeah. So I'm going to take, and I also think they're baiting you. Why would this be if they whooped their ass so bad last season?
Yeah.
Why is this line
Numbers
so short?
kind of telling you a little something.
I'm going to take the Illini.
And granted, it was the Eastern Illinois, but Illinois at least put up 45 against them. And as Ryan pointed out, they did shut out Eastern Illinois, and shutouts are very impressive. So,
well, if there's anything Brett Bielema is aware of, it's revenge, and he would be able to point to that. And I also think to what you were getting to, Sean, that this Kansas team, you have to put in a bucket of just, you can't lay a big number on the road.
Yeah,
you can't. And
under 3 maybe, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're there against like a power 4 team.
And let's be honest, like he's had all summer to really focus on this game because Eastern Illinois, you're not going to prep for. Yeah, that's why I think the line is even telling you this, because really Kansas whooped their ass last year. That score is like the final score is actually misleading. Kansas like dominated them, so I think they're telling you bet Illinois. Let's take Illinois.
Colby has been in communication with working on some sort of contract restructure to get him in by week 1. We'll see how it goes.
Kramer, it sounds like you like Illinois.
I don't like backing a Joe Judge.
But you pointed out you're not going to back a Joe Judge.
I don't like doing it.
You were making some points for Illinois.
Well, when you lay points with Kansas, and we're going to be in Vegas, so I can already see it. They're just gonna find a way. They're gonna make the game interesting if they're losing, and if they're up, they're gonna let the other team back into the game. So let's take Illinois, I guess. And also to what you were saying about the market is kind of telling you what to bet on here. I do think if Kansas was the right side, this number would be much bigger.
Illinois +5 for Ryan. Hey, maybe you want to catch some Fighting Illini football in beautiful Champaign, Illinois. All you got to do is go to gametime.co, use the promo code SGPN, get you $20 off, get you some good seats at a great price. I want to see what the get-in price for that Northwestern football.
I'm looking right here. It's free.
No, it can't be. No, it's Chicago. Well, and there's limited seating, all in pricing over at the Northwestern game. You can get in for $90.
That's free in Chicago.
Well, yeah, I mean Chicago not cheap by any
deep
means.
dish pizza,
and it's a small stadium. It would be an awesome place to catch a game. $90, but $70 if you use the promo code SGPN. Concerts, comedy, they got it all. Maybe you want to see UFC at the Sphere. I saw the prices are dropping. Maybe we're gonna have to go see a Sphere UFC fight, Ryan. That would be pretty badass.
I've heard they can't sell all the F1 tickets after that first year.
Really?
So big. Yeah. I think it's pretty easy to get into year 2.
Go to gametime.co or download the Game Time app and use the promo code SGPN. Get you $20 off. Game Time.
All right. Moving along, Colby back-to-back weeks decides we need to pick the pussy pack. I'm starting to wonder, Sean, what if again it could.
I didn't put it on the first week, did I?
Pretty sure we talked pussy pack in the first week. Tennessee, the Volunteers are heading down to beautiful. Wait, is this a neutral site game? Charlotte, North Carolina.
Bank of America.
Oh, they're playing in that horrible.
Why not play this as a home and home? I don't understand it.
Maybe.
So you got 2 great home environments. Let's do none of that and just play some corporate bullshit game.
I would say that this is a tough, because you're right. If you just play a home and home, NC State catching 8 points on a neutral site in North Carolina. +250 on the money line. Tennessee will be well represented, -300.
Well rested too. A little extra rest.
60.5 is the total. Tennessee coming off a game where they scored 69 points. Nice. I mean, it is funny when you watch these SEC teams where like Tennessee is clearly like, all right, guys, everyone scores today. We gotta send a nice message that we're gonna put up a bunch of points. I mean, and furthermore, I hope we run into some Tennessee fans in Vegas, but they still are the most delirious fan base on the planet.
But
it's out of control. Like this team looks great.
Spot for
They're
them?
Not winning a national championship.
No,
Calm
but
down.
isn't this?
I had to listen to this fucking guy. I never hear anyone talk about college football. I'm walking the dogs. And this guy's chomping my ear. I'm wearing a Virginia Tech shirt, and the guy's chomping my ear off about
what day was this?
So you lost to Vandy?
No, this was before the season.
Okay.
He was telling me how they're going to win the national championship this year. And it's like I'm just thinking about that guy as they're beating Chattanooga.
Well, I mean, Ryan,
69
when you need a bunch of people to carry goalposts into a river. Yeah, you don't need sound reasoning and logic.
No.
You need some guys who are just going to be like,
No.
yeah, let's. Now, Colby, did they plan that ahead of time, or did they pull down the goalpost and they're like, we got to take this somewhere?
Yeah.
And one guy goes, hey, there's the river.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's exactly what happened. And then you had
hey, this is what we think
Nick
of
Saban
your
complain
clear
about
recycling.
it.
We're going to throw it in the river.
One of his worst takes.
No, that was great. That was awesome. But NC State, I mean, Western Carolina was up on them in the fourth quarter, right? Like, and they got 21 unanswered, but that was a bit of a that was a bit of a game. I don't know, man. I don't know about this Wolf Pack. Colby, are you on the pussy pack?
No. Look, Grayson McCall used to piss Teal. He left for NC State. He's all mixed up.
You can't say you're gonna piss Teal and then not finish out your career.
I agree. And
that's
part of the
like
fade.
That's like the guy at Florida State saying, "Hey, if Boston College beats us, I'm gonna literally eat a red Solo cup of dog shit," and then deletes his account. No, you be a man and you eat that fucking dog shit.
This is the problem.
The internet demands it.
This is the problem with the youth. Is
this is why
there's no consequence.
This is why every time someone's like, "Oh, I bet you $100 or this or that" on Twitter. And then I'm like, okay, fine, I'm in. And then when you win, they completely ghost you, they block you, whatever. It's like there's no honor. We need to bring dueling back because you can't say I'm gonna eat dog shit and not eat dog shit. If we had dueling in our society, this shit would get settled.
I did wear a mustache for 31 days.
Brian lived up to his.
Funny you bring up the betting because I don't want to blow up my daughter's spot, but she apparently bets are made at school, and she's telling me how like all these people owe her money. And I'm like, well, what? How do you like you don't collect or? Not everyone pays. Like, what do you mean not everyone pays? There's just no consequences anymore. It makes no sense. Anyway, back to the puss. Yeah, I mean you're gonna lay the big number. I think. There's no chance that Tennessee doesn't have the crowd here. Is that a crazy take? Even though it's in North Carolina?
I do think Tennessee. It'll be like 60-40.
They have such a huge fan base.
It'll be like 60-40. I think to the Vols.
They'll drive to Charlotte. Come on.
Yeah. I mean both. I mean,
NC State will. They'll have some fans.
Yeah, they will. That's what I'm saying. 60-40. Give me a Vols fan.
Lay it.
Lay it all day. I think they're gonna be able to throw the ball.
Why do you put this game on here? The outcome.
It's a huge game for the playoffs.
The outcome's obvious.
The outcome's obvious.
Yeah,
we're not gonna take NC State.
The college football betting's too easy, Colby. What are you doing?
When's the last time we took NC State? If we did, it was a mistake. 4:30 on the West Coast, Lincoln, Nebraska, big time rivalry game here. Colorado, Nebraska. Coach Prime on his farewell tour from college football to the Dallas Cowboys stops off in Nebraska, laying 7.5 for Mr. Rule. And is it Rayola or Riola?
Rayola, I believe.
Okay. I've heard both. I thought it was Rayola, like Crayola. Minus 270 on the money line. Colorado plus 220. 58.5 is the total. I don't like the idea of Coach Prime and their flash going against someone else that has a little pop, because I feel like that could get him jealous. Like, this guy's getting views on the internet. We got to do something about that. I will say Travis Hunter would love to have Travis Hunter on the NFL team. He looks very good.
Because I thought you were out. I thought.
What do you mean?
I said, do you want the Giants to draft Travis? Sorry, Shedeur Sanders, and you said no.
Well, I don't think that will happen.
Giants have a policy when it comes to the quarterback position.
I think Travis Hunter, it could be a top 10 pick at either position. He probably is not the route runner to be a receiver, and he'll probably be an insanely good cornerback for a lot of years.
Yeah, I think
Shedeur Sanders doesn't have an NFL arm.
I don't know, man. That was kind of my take, at least last year. But yeah, granted, it was North Dakota State. But I thought like there were a couple throws where he hung in the pocket and threw some nice balls.
I think he could be successful.
And that Travis Hunter catch was, if the guy is going to be in the mix for the Heisman, like those are the type of plays that are like, holy shit, this dude is awesome.
Yeah, he's going to put up numbers. It's a lot of yards after the catch. It's a lot of relying on these great athletes. But I think Travis Hunter greater than Shedeur Sanders by a mile.
Yes, I think that's fair. Well, and he
from
plays,
a college athlete perspective,
and he plays
or
both
prospect.
ways. Yeah, I think there's a lot to figure out with Shedeur at the next level, but I at least saw stuff that I hadn't seen from him last year previously, and it's just one game. It was.
I'm also worried about the offensive line going against a larger school's defense.
Colorado's defense in general, it was like, man,
they got bullied.
I think it was a combination of, hey, this is what happens when you bring in all these kids in the transfer portal. There was no chemistry or cohesion on the defensive side. Didn't feel like there was much of a scheme to the physicality side, a part of it, or put that to the side. It didn't look like a well-structured defense or like a defense that knew how to play together. Now they got bailed out because they had incredible athletes on the offensive side.
Yeah.
I still think this number is too high. I think the athleticism that Colorado has is going to make this a competitive game, but I don't know if I would take Colorado on the money line because I do think there was a lot of holes on that Colorado defense. Now maybe Nebraska can just pound the rock. They're going to get up for this game, but I don't know. I still think Colorado's not going to go out without a fight. And you saw what they did trying to cover the number last game at home against North Dakota State. If they're down 14, they're going to be throwing the ball, and the back door will be open. So I'm taking Colorado in the points. Colby, what are you doing as a Buffs insider?
Oh, come on, you know this. This number's been disrespectful all fucking offseason.
Let's go.
Talk
me. Are you in on the money line? Talk me into the money line.
Yes,
okay.
they're the better team. Look, the only angle you could sell me on is Matt Rule is just a better coach because I do worry about clock management.
Deion throwing like a 40-yard ball. As a guy who was like, I went back home. I was having some cocktails. I was on East Coast time. I'm like, this fucking guy's going for it. I loved it. I was a gambler. If I was a Buffs fan, just wanting to win the game, like
that was a problem last season, man. Like some of the clock management scenarios, it's a legit problem.
They got some dogs on that team.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think the defensive line will be better. Another thing is, I actually think this is going to sound crazy, but I think you can make a case North Dakota State's offensive line's better than Nebraska's. It's
not crazy. I mean, North Dakota State did have some.
They got some guys on their offensive line that will be in the NFL, and.
But the trench is both ways. I think my takeaway from the game, and I think we watched the game together, and I asked you, I said, do you think the speed will show up when they play power conference teams? You said, I think so. And then I said, well, they were getting bullied by an FCS squad. However you want to frame that up.
Still, you put North Dakota State in the Big 12, they're going to make a bowl. It's like North Dakota State's better than a lot of schools in the Big 12 on the line of scrimmage.
That's fine, but they were treating Colorado like they weren't. Like they were treating Colorado like they were beneath them. And you know, when you look at the post game win expectancy, Sean, one of the lowest, certainly the lowest in an FBS versus FCS matchup, but one of the lowest of the weekends. I mean, I watched that game. They were not by any means taking care of business, and the outlier stuff happened.
Every play was like the outlier stuff was like a deflected interception off of a fucking shoe in the end zone, or Colorado would have covered this.
Well, that throw was not getting completed. But to your point,
but every other throw, he completed like at 77% of his passes. I mean, every other throw was like a fucking 70-yard touchdown. So
I get the reliance on a big play makes it such that it will be difficult to. I gotta see it against a real team. You even came into the season saying this isn't the same North Dakota State team.
True, but I was actually really impressed. I was really impressed with them
because they were playing a team that didn't have, like Sean said,
Cam Miller threw the ball better than I'd seen him in his life, dude. So some of that might be Colorado's defense, but some of it you can't. Dude, Colorado's guys still have NFL guys on this defense.
Yeah.
So that you can't tell me that's not a giant step forward for Cam Miller.
What did the quarterback in Nebraska say about the upcoming season to the fans at some pep rally?
What did he say?
He said, buckle in.
Yeah.
We're going to have some fun.
And you also had Nebraska with some shit talking here, saying one of their players saying that you'll find out that
I love it.
Dylan Raiola is much more the quarterback than Shedeur Sanders is.
Let's go. Give me Nebraska. Lay the point, Sean. You know what the number's telling you. You know what the number's telling you to do.
I thought Ryan was going to be all over the Buffs. I did have a.
You guys are. I was enjoying with your fanboydom.
I was enjoying listening to the broadcast, and they'd say touchdown Bison, and thinking Ryan was confused. Like, wait, who scored?
No, I'm not the only people that are confused about.
Tomato is technically a fruit, Colby.
He's
also one of those guys.
Yeah,
it's also true. Well, Colby will tell you tomatoes are fruit, actually. So you're talking to the wrong. You're barking up the wrong fucking tree right now, Sean. 7 p.m. on the West Coast. We're heading to Pullman for a very special night. Washington State and Texas Tech coming together.
Oh, come on,
to play football and remember Coach Mike Leach. Again, Sean fading Gardner Minshew as he is the quarterback of a literal pirate ship in the NFL this year. Not me. I'm all over the Raiders. Washington State's laying 2 in this one. Going to be a sick atmosphere, like the game we went to. a couple years back. -125 on the money line. Texas Tech +105. 65.5 is the total. I'll never forget the woman at the Coug that wanted Colby very badly to meet her daughter, who was also at the Coug.
Oh man, it was just yeah, she was really playing matchmaker pretty hard.
Second favorite moment from the Coug was being able to not wait in line and get the best service of my life for $100 bill.
Yes, shout out to the Coug. Great spot in Pullman.
College bars with pitchers. Things are different.
Their honor and Mike Leach is going in the Hall of Fame here, the Washington State Hall of Fame, and I would challenge the University of Texas Tech to pay his goddamn estate the money that he has deserved.
No.
All right, he has deserved money, and you filthy whores, you took it from him. You took it from him on some bullshit.
Yeah.
So not only are you going to come up to Pullman, the house that Leach built, and take an L, why don't you have the courtesy of doing the right goddamn thing and giving him the money that he was fucking owed? Washington State -2 lock.
Yep. Don't have to convince me to go against another evil Tech school. I mean, it obviously there's something to the date, right? Or picking the game against Texas Tech.
Yeah. They did a cool little graphic too. If you've seen here, let me try to find that for you.
We're not going to fade the Cougs in this. One of our, I mean, Sean, I don't know if I caught your Pac-2 power rankings from last week.
Yes, I released them. I will be re-releasing them.
But it's hard to imagine going against a team in the top 2 of your power rankings.
Yeah, the top 2 power ranked team. I mean, Texas Tech, they let Abilene Christian hang around. This is Washington State all day, baby. I mean, they went to overtime with Abilene Christian. You go, come on, this is Washington State all day. Red Raiders let up 500 passing yards. Now, yeah, Washington State's defense isn't amazing, but they're going to be up for this game. Yeah, I mean, it's the Coach Leach Bowl. Washington State all fucking
check out that
day.
graphic Washington State tweeted out. You got Leach's pirate ship coming in, got the Cougs hanging, these Red Raiders trying to cross.
No way they're getting in. Look at these formidable Cougars.
Put that money on his damn ship. All right, put that money on a damn ship.
Let the pirate have his plunder. I mean, Washington State -2. This is easy. Come on. Consensus. I feel bad. The Discord's on Texas Tech.
I mean, this is another one of those ones where it's a setup. We were obviously going to take the Cougs here.
Yeah, come on.
Lay it. All right. Boise State, Oregon. How we feeling about the Ducks? They're laying 19.5.
I have a future on them to win the Natty, and they almost lost to Idaho, so I'm not feeling great.
-1400 on the money line. Boise State 8-1. 61 is the total. You mentioned the meaningful games for Tulane and the Texas State UTSA game. Well, certainly this opens a incredible opportunity for a Boise State team that was already a popular play to make the playoff out of the group of 5. Probably
this game.
Probably the best team in their own, arguably the best team in their conference, even though their pretty boy quarterback from Southern California didn't turn out to be everything that they hoped he would be. And it does seem like, because I don't believe, I'm not all the way into my FCS content for the season, but I don't think Idaho is a top shelf team.
They weren't supposed to be. They lost their starting quarterback to Oregon State, their starting running back to Utah, and a couple of their wideouts there. So yeah,
they showed up against Oregon. Obviously, we've seen this before. These teams treat this like some sort of preseason game, and maybe it just got out of hand a little too close. But also, Oregon didn't pass the eye test.
No, the Dylan Gabriel look, like it was just so dink and dunk. It's like, dude, come on. No disrespect to Idaho, but like, take some deep shots, push the ball down the field. You have athletes. You're like a Nike college football team. Like, what are we doing here? And Boise State's coming in with nothing to lose. Like, they really have nothing to lose. They're, in what world do you feel comfortable laying 19.5 with Oregon? Not at all.
If you had asked me this 2 weeks ago, I was prepared to take Oregon minus the points, but they look so bad now. Maybe they were keeping it vanilla.
The numbers moved. That would be the argument.
No, Idaho was like in the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And this is the real Idaho. If you're going to play a school in Idaho, Boise State,
boy.
Ashton Jeanty, pulling a friggin' Al Bundy over here, 6 touchdowns, 1 game.
I'm definitely going to sprinkle this in Vegas on the money line. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, look, and the fact that this is everything for them. If they were did I mention Boise State's never lost to Oregon? They're undefeated. They're 3-0 against Oregon, all in the past 15 years. Let's go. Give me those Broncos plus the points.
And Boise State's offense put up a ton of, granted whatever competition, but still, like
I test stuff and I was
now Boise State did let up 45 to Georgia Southern.
Nervous about their defense. Nervous about their defense.
But if Oregon's offense looked amazing, this would be a little harder to break down. And Georgia Southern was in that game against Boise State. Now, granted, that was in Georgia Southern as this game's in Oregon, but
there were some Heisman hopefuls who had for everything you said about Kyron Drones, there were some other guys that had much
Dylan
worse
Gabriel
performances with shorter odds. Connor Wegman in Texas.
Yeah, this is when you got to pad the
Very
stats.
true.
Especially if these guys trying to make a Heisman case, like you got to throw for 4 touchdowns against Idaho, like just to make the numbers look good.
Wish I had grabbed the 21, but that will never come back to us. But yeah, you got to take the points.
It is a little nerve wracking because public dogs do have a little bit of fleas, but
are they public?
I assume.
I'm not sure they're going to be a public team.
Really?
I think I do think Oregon. I mean, I think that they've taken some early money, but I think when the dust settles, Oregon will be the side.
I just can't imagine anyone wanting to bet on Oregon laying
if this closes at 20.5, it tells you that people came back and bet Oregon. They're just not going to get back to 21.
All right, time for the lock, dog, and tease. And bonus lock. Kramer, you're up first. What do you got?
You sure you want a bonus lock? Lock number 1, give me Oklahoma State. Coach Petrino seemed a little distracted. I can't imagine it's going to be good for the offensive output this week. Oklahoma State has that look of a team that's going to make some statements when they can make some statements, if you know what I mean. Lock number 2. I was glad Colby put this on the sheet because Iowa, easy money. Matt Campbell ruined the day last time he came to town, so I don't think. And again, this Kirk Ferentz coming off the suspension, and we've never seen this man before in this state.
Oh, he's gonna be that. By God, that's so cold music, and it's just Kirk Ferentz walking out ready to dominate.
Someone please do that. Let's see. Then I think the for the dog. I like the Tulane angle that Colby was laying out. Interesting spot. Sure, the spread's on the larger side. Should probably be a little shorter. We'll take the 3-1 tease. After Sean wanted to cancel the tease, he now just wants to tout how good he is.
Oh, you kept teasing. Saying I'll go head to head with you in my teases. I'm 2-0. You're 0-2.
You didn't accept. I have a lot of good opportunities.
That's because you like growing a mustache now, so I don't know what to go with.
It's not the worst look. Let's start by teasing Texas down to 1.5.
Okay.
Oklahoma State down to 1.5.
Okay.
And let's get weird. Actually, no, this doesn't need to be weird at all. Tennessee -2.
All right. First lock, Washington State -2. Go Cougs. Second lock.
That's a good lock. If I had more locks, that would have been on my locks.
Yeah. Second lock. I do like Iowa.
And while you're figuring stuff out,
I'll go Utah -14.
Oh, that's a good pick too.
They're great at home.
I'm officially changing Oklahoma State out of my teaser because they're a lock, and I'm making it Nebraska -1.5.
Yeah, I thought you were going to do that.
Yeah.
Matt, I like Tulane. I like BYU. I think it's frisky.
Illinois is a good dog pick as well.
Yeah, Illinois actually that feels like a 24-20 game, or maybe like 35. Yeah. Boise.
You won't take Boise State on the
Boise State on the money line.
You won't take Boise State on the money line.
All right, I'll take because I'm going to be betting this. So Boise State on the money line, And for my tees, Tennessee -2, easy money. I'll also take Oklahoma State -1.5, and then Texas -1.5. Colby, what do you got for the folks?
Lock Iowa -2.5.
I'm gonna be betting Iowa.
Did you know there's actually an effort for parts of Eastern Oregon to secede from Oregon and join Idaho?
I've heard about this actually. I think I was drunk somewhere in Oregon.
The 13 Oregon. Oh no, the 13th county in Oregon has voted to secede and join Idaho. Oh shit! Seems like some serious business.
My second lock will be Utah -14.
Wow, double lock on Utah.
Well, I like your guys Iowa too, but
is he copying your locks again, Sean?
The dog. I mean, let's just not overthink this. Colorado +220.
Oh my god!
When's the last time Nebraska won a close game? When's the last time Nebraska won a close game?
Oh no, it's not a Matt. It's just a Scott Frost. Oh, that Matt Rule losing a bunch of close games. It's not a Nebraska thing.
That's fair.
You guys are hilarious. Larry the Cable Guy is going to be snapping guys' arms in the press box. Google Larry the Cable Guy arm wrestling video. Don't talking not about right that. After a meal though. Him discussing on the show is insane.
I mean, he did. I mean, that's pretty fucking manly to.
Colby, you are the tease god. What do you got?
Tennessee -2.
Okay.
Great tease.
Texas -1.5.
Oh, this is bad. Okay. Get something weird in there.
Utah -8.
All right. That's fine.
I almost did that. That was a good one.
What do we like as a parlay? We like Tulane. We like BYU. We like Boise State.
How about a little Colorado? Rocky Mountain? You can do a little Colorado BYU money line play.
Okay.
No, thank
Sean
you.
and Colby. Colorado BYU money line parlay. I like that.
So I think we go
Kramer on Parlay Island.
BYU and Tulane.
I'm actually going to join you on
the
that.
Slippery soak.
Put me down for that one too. Let's just have a big party here. We could also do.
I'm not going to give out too much. I don't want to accidentally Benedict.
Ooh. I mean, I can see myself a Boise State, Tulane, BYU round robin money line parlay.
There's some games we didn't. We'll say let's just say there's going to be some parlays in Vegas. We got paper tickets, which means I love the way they print the round robin.
It is fun.
So it's just going to have to.
All right. Hey, everyone, get in on the free roll football contest. It's free. You can win $3,500 just for picking NFL games against the spread. We will be talking next time you hear our voices. We will be talking National Football League. We're doing 2 days tomorrow. We're doing an early props show because we're going to be out in Vegas. Got the man in the box.
Yep.
That's 11 a.m.
He's not in the box, unfortunately.
Pacific-ish time, and then NFL picks week 1, 8:30 Pacific.
Yes.
It's where the bread gets buttered.
We will be spinning a wheel.
Yes. For the NFL future.
Smash.
Appreciate the chat. Everyone hanging out. Appreciate everyone telling a friend. We're a small business, small company. This is how we grow the word about SGPN, Sports Gambling Podcast, college football experience by you simply telling, fire up the group text. Tell them, hey, these guys have a good time. They're not uptight. They use the word Redskins. They're not afraid
to.
They're not afraid to get drunk and give out money.
Hail to the Redskins, baby.
I use the football team as well when I want to get real dirty.
And shout out to the chat. You guys are like the 6-man award. We will give out to the chat, or maybe. What is the official award for the chat? Because they create an element here, right?
We'll see. I mean, you could be complimenting members of the subvertive force brought over from TC.
Running both ways.
We'll have to do some background checks before we give out any sort of positive chat.
And hey, if you're in Vegas, Kramer and I are going to be out there Thursday through Monday, hanging out, watching games all day Sunday at the Westgate, circa Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So. Come out, say what's up. Beers, as always, on us.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green. He's Ryan.
A handshake, too, from me, if you want one.
Kramer, let it ride.